confidence even more and allow me to understand my purpose in this sport and know that I am the king of the division. You know, these guys avoid me so much, you know. It's sickening, you know, for the sport. You know, it really brings the sport down when you have so many guys, you know, come up with excuses of different things to try to avoid fighters and not fight the best, not fighting the best in the sport of boxing. You know, everybody got COVID or
Right.
all these guys juicing and doing all this cheating and stuff. It's just ridiculous, man. You know, sometimes I just be like, dang, I can't wait to the point in time where I do retire. You know.
Those are the words of Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder as he points out the cheating in the sport of boxing. You heard him mention COVID. You heard him mention juicing. Okay? Now, who he was talking about with COVID, just, hey, pick one. You know, you had Tyson Fury that did it. Of course, Tyson Fury's in that bag or that circle of people that he was mentioning that had COVID. You know, him, Teofimo, you know, him and Teofimo don't get along. Of course, another ESPN fighter. Who else have tested positive for COVID and then all of a sudden the fight didn't happen? You know, whoever. Juicing, okay? Like he said, it's sickening. It's sickening to hear about the guys and all these guys that are juicing. You know who he was talking about, okay? He was talking about Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez has been caught cheating. He was talking about Canelo too, because see, that backdates. Whoever you're associated with, that's who you're with, okay? So Canelo Alvarez made Oscar Valdez look bad and vice versa, okay? Canelo, a few years ago, got popped with clenbuterol in his system. He blamed it on cow meat. Now Oscar Valdez got busted with phentermine. Phentermine is something that makes you lose weight. It helps you lose weight. It gives you more stamina. It increases your blood flow. It does a lot of things for you as far as that. And it's been an uproar about it, and it should have been, okay? That's what Deontay Wilder's talking about. He's referring to the cheating in the sport of boxing. Now, you can say whatever you want to say about Deontay Wilder. You have never heard of him failing a drug test, okay? Of any shape, form, or fashion. You never heard anything to that magnitude, all right? So, you know, and he's calling out these type of things that's going on in the sport of boxing. But it should be, okay? Like, a lot of things happen in the sport of boxing, and Oscar's not that huge. What makes him huge is the fact of who he's associated with, okay? He's associated with the Reynosos because they're his trainer, and Canelo Alvarez, which is like the pound-for-pound best fighter. So he's associated with a huge, important circle of fighters and trainers. So that reflects them. Since Canelo Alvarez has already popped dirty, that makes that look even that much worse. Okay? You guys, it's all about association. Okay? You guys remember when the Wilder channels, the LDBC, made 5 videos a day, 20 videos a week, different channels about, and how they did it, they associated Tyson Fury with known cheats. So when you associate the two, you get okay, you've compared them so much, then you can't help but hearing one name, then you hear another name. So if you wanted to associate someone with someone, you say, hey, you remember Antonio Margarito? Look how this is similar. Now we have Tyson Fury. Or you remember Louis Resto? Now we have Louis Resto. Now we have Tyson Fury. So they were strategically comparing by association and associating those names together. So mentally, when you keep hearing those two names, you look at both of those people are cheaters. And on top of Tyson Fury did fail a drug test back in the day, but that was under weird circumstances with UCAD because they came and at first they didn't even charge him. Then a year later, then they charged him. They did the same thing to Eric Molina. Okay, Molina went through the same shit with UCAD, okay? But it didn't matter because they associated this man with known cheats, Okay, on top of Tyson Fury failing that drug test, then all of a sudden he is just as bad as Margarito, Louis Resto, and the rest of them that cheated like the way they cheated. Okay, that's no different than this. But in this case, it's reasonable. Why? Because Canelo Alvarez and Oscar Valdez, they know each other, they train together, and they're in the same pool. They're in the same gym. Okay, so that is what Deontay Wilder was talking about. He was talking about the cheating in business, saying, well, hey, I'll be glad when I retire. That could be a totally different video, but let's add it in there. Y'all like, I'll be retired because I'm tired of this shit here. I'm tired of that there. Now, you look at whether Tyson Fury cheated him or not, and the denial he's in, Deontay Wilder, that doesn't matter when it comes to other guys that have been popped with something in the system. However, for the record, Tyson Fury has not popped anyway positive in the last 5 years or more. Really, the last 6. Okay, until they test. I guess they're testing. I guess they're in a clean boxing program now, but he hasn't. Okay, so what he did was a backdated crime, which they brought up, but this just makes it more obvious that it's cheating in the sport of boxing. And now guys like Mauricio Suleiman are letting this shit pass. Okay? That makes that anger. And you already look at a person like Deontay Wilder that blames white privilege for him losing. What makes you think he's not going to blame the complexion plea for this situation? Right? But again, like Jarrell Miller, same thing for Wilder. They can say the same thing because why? It's so shitty on the way they handled it. They handled Oscar Valdez like he was a fucking president of Mexico. Okay? They handled it like, oh, well, hey, we're going to let you fight, get your money then, but, we have to do these things. We got to do these things. Then everything will be all right. You'll be good. Right? They probably said it just like that, too. In Mexican, todo bien. Vamos a ver. But anyway, Deontay Wilder shares his thoughts on the cheating in the sport of boxing. You guys tell me what you think of Deontay Wilder's responses. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.